celebrating together so joyfully. Words pour out from our kind souls. There is no place for inflated egos. This place is home to you and me. Surroundings familiar, a community. Let's write the words from our minds. All those adventures will be sublime. This group belongs to the member poets, caring and sharing those precious moments. Let's laugh together, then share some tears, emotions displayed without anxiety or fear. Quill and Parchment Society, elevating poets, honoring art, enriching souls, celebrating community.
Welcome, everybody. Zach, you hear me?
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Loud and clear, buddy.
All right.
Sounding good.
Sweet.
We got a whole bunch of stuff going on today. Welcome back from vacation, Zach. Scarlett filled in admirably last week. I don't know if you caught the show or not, but we had a really good time.
Nice.
I called her last minute, and she joined me, and we got through everything and all that. So we have a very full show with some surprises, some good ones, some bad ones, and all that. Let's start. I'd be remiss if I didn't start with my friend Shamla, recently passed. She's a Parchie, and you guys all knew her and seen her around, some of you to varying degrees, but she was a wonderful human being, a great poet. And we have a friend of hers. I'll just put it that way. A friend of hers, JoJo, John Wagner, standing by, ready to call in. So what we're going to do here, Zach, is we're going to start the show because we have 17 pieces, I think, to read, which is quite a bit. So we're going to start the show and try to get through them. And then we'll have JoJo call in here very shortly ahead of the piece that he's going to read of his. And he can stick around however long he wants when he calls in. Join us for whatever time he wants, but we'll do it like jump rope, double Dutch. You and me will start twirling the rope, and when John's ready to jump in, he can jump in. I know he's listening and on the board right now, getting the rhythm down. That's what he's doing right now, Zach. So I don't know how many more ados need to be furthered here before we get to it. What are your thoughts, Zach? You got anything to share?
Just that, like, Parchies and folks listening back home could catch where we're reading on the topic board at the top of the list on allpoetry.com for Quill and Parchment. You can see us at the Reading List Podcast, episode 25. and all the poems will be read from there.
Excellent. And it's a long list this week, isn't it, Zach? So
Indeed. Without
we'll,
further
we'll
ado.
add. Yeah, see, now I come up with another ado. It always happens, doesn't it, Zach? The only other thing I cared to mention here is this is the last of the live episodes through Podbean. And again, I'm going to be searching for something and all that. So what I've kind of done is loosely I've said to you and all of that, the decision was made. We're going to call this the last episode in season 1. This is our 25th episode. It will be the last episode in season 1. So when we reconvene under whatever platform or format, it will be season 2, but I need some time to get that stuff put together and make it work fluidly. That way they can hear your thoughts and my thoughts like they're used to, and we can do as close to what we're used to doing as we possibly can. That's what I'm going to try to do. So we're going to be on hiatus for a little bit as far as the show, but still active in the group. And it probably will be 4 to 6 weeks, I'm guessing. I've also got some other things going on. My wife's getting ready to have her second shoulder surgery. I've been working 7 days a week, and all of this is not news to you, Zach, I know, but it may be to some of the Parchies out there. But I'm going to digress now, and we're going to start reading some poetry, Zach. So the way I have this set up, we've also got some new poets. So we're going to block them in groups. I think there was 5, and JoJo is one of those. So let's get started with our poet of the month, Aaron Farrow, I believe.
All right. And that poem that Aaron Farrow wrote is called So All May See. Like a thief in the night, cloaked in black, grief has taken the chromatic piece from me. My sanity has dwindled into condemnation of thee. It had taken my clean heart and tarnished it like an agent of eggs on a silver finish. The cleaner depakote, so I may sleep through the Holmes house dreams. My fascination with ghosts no longer splitting at the seams. It's given me morning on the acceptance streams. It's curdled milk in my belly that's supposed to give me a sweet means. So, a group of counterparts to help with the saddening. Skip over the hard part of the maddening. But I don't skip. I stumble on the humble and ache for set free. I want to be gleaming so all may see. End poem.
Aaron's, she does some fun things with her rhyme there. I started catching those, excuse me, end rhymes that she was doing there. And it takes this piece and gives it a little bit of a sections where it doesn't seem so sad. It seems she's talking about memories is what it sounded like to me, not literal ghosts of memories and stuff like that. But it also, comes in with if you go back to the title, so all may see the title of it. If you expose everything, there's nothing else to worry about. So if it's all out there, that's what I started thinking about that title. So what were your thoughts as you were reading it, Zach?
This one, I know it's I first of all, the particular thing that stood out was Aaron Farrow. She has this athletic sort of structure, this verse, and it's kind of like almost like a paragraph, but it's a very poetic paragraph. And it reads with rhyme and rhythm within the paragraph itself. It's kind of like it's just, you don't get lost in it really. You kind of like know, like there's definitely direction, and this one like I think I know it's like Depakote is I believe an antipsychotic, so I think this is a mental health poem of sorts. The sanity has been taken away, and Depakote is kind of balancing things. I think it's sort of in order for the speaker to have a kind of dreams, but like Depakote is kind of like this tarnish on the like silver countertops or the silver finish, like an agent of eggs. But no, I think that's what's that Depakote is actually cleaning that. In fact, so it's like Depakote is kind of acting as a cleaning agent to kind of scrub away, almost like steel wool to me. Um, it's kind of visceral that way, but like it's not really it's not really sweet because it goes straight to the liver and then it goes to the brain to work. But like I think like in a way it's still necessary. But like it somewhat tarnishes the speaker just a little bit in a sense, in a way that like not really tarnish, but like I feel like it like part of it. I feel like it hides the speaker's true potential. Maybe like it keeps the speaker at bay somehow, somewhat. I think that maybe the drug is a little bit of a hindrance, but it's also still helpful in a way. But it's like not fully allowing the speaker to be themselves in a way. Maybe I could be wrong, but that's just I'm also contrasting kind of my experience with the Bacote in here because I've had the drug for like more than half my life. So this is kind of a personal bias, not just a little bit there. So yeah.
Now, see, Zach, I didn't even know that was a drug, honestly. So you helped me there because I didn't know. That definitely helps with the mood and tone of the poem and intention. So yeah, that fully works. Let's see. What do we have next, Zach?
Next up, we have Sonia 392Z's poem, and that's a new poet, and that's your read.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here. We are coming in with the new poet section right now, and I say new poet. Everybody's seen Sonia around. She's does a whole lot of things for the site and all that, but she's one of our newest members. That old time feeling hits me now and then, by Sonia 3902Z. That old time feeling hits me now and then, when I sense something familiar about a scene at a time when I was 15. That old time feeling hits me now and then as I write a poem from memory which was lost from a power shortage frost. That old time feeling hits me now and then when I remember our first date in which we laughed at our jokes while we ate dinner and drank cokes. That old time feeling hits me now and then, looking at you today and seeing your gray hair, knowing that we make a great pair. That was so sweet. Now, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
What are your thoughts, Zach?
like a piece of butter melting over a pile of flapjacks, man. I'm telling you, like that.
I really like that analogy, Zach.
I mean, like it just got like progressively sweeter in a way. Like that old time feeling, it's like nostalgia in a way, but it kind of advances within the speaker's own life. This nostalgia kind of layers itself. Like from memories to like first dates and drinking cokes, and then like from there it transitions like that first date to like the old age phase. So these two were kind of meant to be at the start, and I like that sort of how it started at 15, and it seems like it in that way, in that kind of atmosphere, it's like it has a like humble beginnings and kind of like a solid foundation. I think if it's just that to just have something like that like monumental start at that age and last for that long, that's saying something, and to have that all in a poem, I think is very interesting.
A celebration of commitment and a lifetime together. And if you look at the picture, they look as young a spirit as anybody. Like they're having a great time. It's got a beautiful, adorable picture in a little cafe and all that with what looks like, I don't know if it's flapjacks or not, Zach. I can't quite see, and I don't want to expand it because I'm afraid I'll get off the page.
It looked like a Cracker Barrel to me. It just had that vibe.
Okay. Right. But it's funny. It's funny how it progresses because it's only 4 stanzas and it covers kind of an entire relationship that has some longevity from 15 till currently. And I believe Sonia is correct when she said knowing that we make a great pair to close. I love that last line because you don't know at 15, you just have that attraction and that giddiness and all that fun is happening and those emotions are starting. But really think about it, that length of time in a relationship, boy, you have to love each other because there's ups and downs and all that and all of them. All right, Zach, we ready to move on?
Absolutely. Next up, we have Vectis Man's piece, and this is Diamond Eyes.
Another new poet.
Yeah,
I did too.
it's cool.
So I have to make this note, and the only reason I have to make this note is before Pac-Man, I've referred to Pac-Man as our elder statesman, the most seniority in life in our group, and he is no longer that. Believe it or not, I couldn't believe with this membership, with the people that come in, the poets that come in, Zach. I think we got from late teens all the way up to 90.
Oh wow, that's a range.
Yeah, we covered a range, didn't we? And I
Indeed.
thought, well, so be it. That fits right to what we do.
Absolutely.
Ready when you are, Zach. I'm sorry.
Right.
I just wanted to share.
Oh no, that's a good anecdote. Okay. Stare into diamond eyes. You can't locate feelings there. Eyes that are crystal clear show no fear like the grizzly bear, toughened by the kind of life that leaves behind dying eyes. Nothing taken for granted, never taken by surprise. Impenetrable diamond's eyes, unable to cry. Eyes which have seen far too many innocent people die. A sparkling air of brilliance, each facet sensational, a look unbreakable, a view that's not debatable. After having more than one night of good and bad goodbyes, you know you get the truth. Looking into diamond eyes brilliantly bright, a luster, begging facets of light, deepest dreams of moonlight, reflecting heavenly delight. Diamond eyes tugging heartstrings of love to the skies. Eyes so sincere they hold you near. Love without compromise. Under their gaze, you may want to melt like a wanton slave. No mistaking this glint of the eye, leaving you to crave. A three-dimensional symmetrical panorama. View all the reality there is without the drama. Enjoy a realization open life's mysteries, geometry, color, and frequency in all you see. Star sparkling diamonds reflect across a clear blue sky. Very few know why this magical sight blesses the eye. For the smile and the eyes and the smiling sunshine is one, two diamond eyes smiling lustrously back at the sun. End poem.
Oh, I muted myself. I said
I was
great
checking to
read,
see if
Zach.
I was muted.
I love the way this one started because it made me think of Emma Stone from X-Men, covered in diamonds. I think it was Emma Stone. Yeah, that had a diamond skin and all that. And she was supposed to be impervious to everything, but they all meet their match. But the eyes, just speaking of the eyes, what they're talking about is what he's talking about here, I believe, is emotionless after time has beaten you down and you've seen so much that you don't overreact or even necessarily react at things. Sometimes, you see all these things happening around you and the reaction is very minimum because you've seen it before. And if you've seen it before, it's not very shocking. It's not very, it doesn't set you aback. It doesn't draw your attention. But there's some things in here that are really cool. I like the way he did it. The rhyme scheme, I really liked how he rhymed it, and I like how it flowed. It flowed very nicely, but it still had this personality. It didn't bounce, it pulled me different directions. And I think you read it perfectly, Zach. It was very easy to read. from the sounds of it because it had just this natural flow. So what are your thoughts, Zach?
It's like when you think about it, how complex a diamond is, and um, like in a way how an eye is compared to a gem in a sense that it has all these facets, and you can just imagine all these memories within. Not like PTSD, but like an overwhelming sense of things that have been seen in a way, like that have dazzled the speaker. Not like not painful, but just in a sense that have been, well, some painful, but like so much stuff has been seen to the point like the speaker has become desensitized in a way. Um, but there's still like this brilliance there that really kind of hardens with time, um, and becomes even more complex, I think. Uh, yeah, I just really like the way it's written too. It's got really like great use of enjambment throughout, and I like how it rhymes and very inside like not end rhymes. It's like inside the lines itself. Um, I
I
forget
love the midline rhymes
the
myself,
yeah,
Zach. I
yeah.
really
That, I
do.
really like that. That's hard to pull off, and that's a really that's a really structurally sound thing to do, and I really like how this is how it reads, and just the motif of light throughout and brilliance. And it doesn't like the idea of light and like being very bright and brilliance is kind of repeated throughout, but it never gets dull. It just gets like in a different context every stanza, so it just kind of hits different.
Yeah, it's a great write. Boy, I'm gonna throw this out there too. Merv ran a contest where he was converting some AI or some poems to music using an AI app that him and I both know. And Merv's delightful in this. But some of these folks that he started this, it was for members only. And some of these folks had expressed interest in joining so they could get into that poem, or into that contest and get their poems converted to music, which was a
Mm.
great thing, a great lure to get some poets, to attract some poets into the group and kind of uh, freshen up the waters a little bit. And it's neat. We've got some great poets that have joined us, and I'm so happy to read them. What do we got now, Zach?
All right, now we have Raiden Aska Wijaya's poem, and that's your read.
Yes, another new poet.
That is
The title of the poem is Let Me Stay Me by Raiden, which I like that name too. I started thinking of Mortal
Mortal
Kombat
Kombat.
immediately. Who wouldn't, right?
Oh, so good.
Raiden,
Yeah, yeah.
Raiden Aksa Wijaya, I believe. Let's hope I get that right. If I flubbed it up, I'm sorry. I'll do better.
I think yeah.
Let me stay me. And I love the title too. Let me stay the way I am, not a copy, not a sham. I carry storms no one can see. Still I fight silently. Don't reshape my broken art. These scars still beat inside my heart. If I fall, I'll rise slowly. Just let me live as the real me. End poem. Beautifully simple and sweet. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Mm. I mean, I like a brevity that contains a lot. It says a lot with very little. And just the line I carry storms no one can see contains multitudes. Like that's like an inner sort of conflict that's very massive and kind of epic in scale. And the speaker fights it silently. And he's essentially he says don't reshape my broken art, so I think he's essentially wants to stay himself. He doesn't like want anyone to change who he is for the sake of anything really. um I feel like um maybe people have this it's a very like it's like an individual very it's a very like visual struggle. I think maybe some people have tried to dissuade him from becoming who he is in his life, and like this is kind of like very much marching to the beat of his own drum. And and then he might carry those scars, but he kind of wears them kind of with a sense of pride, but not like bloated sort of confidence. It's just kind of quiet and stoic. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed reading it. It had, for a brevity, it had a really beautiful rhyme scheme that was easy to get into immediately. It pulled me in as a reader and was easy to read. I felt like the rhythm was so obvious to me right from the beginning, even cold reading it, I fell right in. And this is the other end. It's the other end. Raiden is the other end of the seniority list as far as the new Parchies that come in. He's a very young poet and full of energy, I'm sure, and I can't wait to read more of him. When I was reading this, that's exactly what I thought. Aside from thinking about what the poem said,
Right.
I was also thinking, boy, I can't wait to read some more of him as he matures and grows within the group and comes alive, and gets comfortable with us. But this is a powerful beginning, I believe. If brevity is his thing, Zach, it's always funny because we have members that you can tell they're writing. You always go back, and we've read enough of them to where we can tell they're writing basically at a glance, and we'll get that way with this young man too. But Raiden, it's a great start. I love the fact that this was my favorite part of this, and it's so very subtle, but it read beautifully, and it felt different. Don't reshape my broken art, not heart. Don't reshape my broken art. These scars still beat inside my heart. And that travels so broadly. It does, is he referring to his broken art as his experiences in life that he's writing about? Is what I thought whenever I read it. So there's so much to unpack in this very compact, powerful piece. Well done. Well done, Raiden. Can't wait to read some more of you. All right, Zach, what do we got next?
All right. Now we have Asama Chiba's piece, and that's called Aglaya.
So that image is stunning, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It reminds me of like Ophelia, like in Shakespeare. A little bit, but It's not the river. Anyway.
Right.
Willow flowers are fragrant. Come taste their divine nectar, then fly on the edge of the wind. Stretch your wings above the line of the horizon, where the earth and sea meet the sky, and magic is born, in the deepest hues of the spectrum, beyond the hills, on top of the mountains, over breaking waves curling into arched temples, where the gulls breed legends on the Olympian lawns, and souls lie in the bed of rose, awaken in the shining splendor of beauty and brilliance. Poem.
This it definitely. I don't know what aglaya is. Do you know what that word is, Zach?
I do not. I don't know if I said that right.
I don't either. I've never seen that word before in my life, but I'm going to take a shot at this without Googling what that word means. Okay. And I believe this is speaking on the afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
Is what it's speaking on clearly. And it's speaking on it in a kind way, not like you're wanting to get there and eager to be there, but there's no fear. There's no fear in the afterlife because things get beautiful and things get wonderful. And beauty is mentioned so many times, and the way she uses the allure of nature and all of that. And like I said, the image is stunning to me. But when I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's beautiful. There's like little lilies and stuff. And, things are just peaceful and calm. And clearly it's a beautiful piece. I would love to take the time to read the author's notes. If you guys don't mind, our ideas are refined and multiplied in the commerce of minds. In their splendor, images affect a very simple communion of souls. Gaston Bachelard. Aglaya, word origin, Greek, splendor, Greek mythology, brilliance. The meaning of Aglaya is one of the three sister goddesses known as the Three Graces. who are the givers of charm and beauty in Greek mythology. Aglaia was the Greek goddess of beauty. Huh.
Hmm.
Now, see, that's something I'd never even heard before, but I'm glad I read that. Oh, what an outstanding piece. I love, again, one of our newest members, and Esima Shiva. Everything we've read from her has been fabulous, hasn't it, Zach?
Mm-hmm.
Well, everything we read all the time is fabulous. Who are we to differentiate into one to the other? Everybody's got their styles, but man, we got a great group of poets. Where are we at, Zach? I started getting lost there in that image and my thoughts.
I guess it's time to get lost in my own thoughts with this one.
Yeah,
I like how I really like the poet, especially has a really cool way of dealing with nature as a motif. Not just in this poem, but in other poems too. I just recalled nature being used in a very broad sort of epic sense. And this one's kind of no different, but in a way, it's um, it's definitely about the afterlife, and it's about, I think, man sort of blending in with nature at the end of like man's life cycle, man returning to earth and then waking up in a kind of like divine palace almost, like in an Olympian sense, not in a Christian sense or a pagan sense, but like in an Olympian sense. And I really like that difference. And there are poems that explore that difference, and I like how this is one of them. How it has a Hellenistic twist to the afterlife, and I really enjoy that. And it's very vivid that way. And I like just how it kind of details an entire narrative with a very short amount of words, or few amount of words, and it's just beautiful throughout, and it's aptly named after the goddess of beauty, I think, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was wonderful. It's wonderful and emotional and beautiful, honestly. So I've invited Jojo, to give us a call whenever he's ready. So as soon as he calls in, Zach, I'll take the call. But until then, let's move on to the next piece and get ready to get started.
Sure. And that's Way Down Upon Joy's piece. Are doing that next?
I just hit invite.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're okay. John, he came up and I hit invite and then everything went away and it didn't bring him in. John, if you could try one more time. I know I hit accept. There it is. We've sent your invite. John Wagner is a speaker now. Welcome, John. Pleasure to meet you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Hey, John.
Yes.
Hey, Zach.
Yes.
Good to hear you again. And
no, likewise, man.
It's a pleasure to finally meet you after all of this time of hearing you on podcasts and talking with Shamla about you.
So let's just get right to it here, John. It's a pleasure to meet you. We shared a mutual friend, Zach. Zach knew Shamala too, but I don't know how well. Anyway, I've been basically for the past few days since her passing. I've been talking to John, and it's been helpful to me to understand that I wasn't her only good friend here on All Poetry. She didn't have any trouble making friends. She really didn't. And I won't speak as to the nature of your relationship with Shamala because that's yours and hers. But John, I feel like we're kindred spirits in the fact that we recognized what kind of a person she was very, very quickly. I enjoyed talking to her. She had an intelligence, and she was not a bit afraid to correct my misspelling. So she spent a lot of time doing that, and she would do it so politely but directly. It cracked me up every time, and I told her, don't worry about it. If you see me switch an I and an E and it needs to be switched back, feel free to send me a message and I'll do it because I'm the worst editor, especially of my own stuff, as anybody. So John, please, anything you care to share?
Did you ever try to give her feedback on her poems? And
Yeah. She was always like so friendly, outgoing.
No, it's funny though. Do you say that, John? Because we did that collaboration, and as we're doing that collaboration, I remember telling her, and it was just like I knew how it would go. I could predict it because I knew her strengths. She knew mine. She knew my weaknesses too, and she was not one bit afraid to kindly but directly tell me that she would have fought tooth and nail over the title. And I knew it because she had a title picked out. And I said, Shyamala, that is a wonderful title. I completely agree. But she did explain to me her whole thought process and why it should be titled that way. So I thought, well, how could I argue with that? Because she had me cornered right there from the very beginning. But yes, it was delightful. And I really enjoyed the fact that when we decided to do the collaboration on our show on the podcast and in the group only collaborations, it was a time where Shyamala and I had bounced back and forth onto whether we could do a collaboration at some point in time or not together, and we just hadn't made time for it. And I have to say, I'm really glad I did, and I'm really glad that you had the time to do it when it happened. So, John, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next poem. We'll read it and go through that whole process, and then yours will be the next one up. Are you comfortable? Do you have the list and all that you're looking at with us?
I do, and I'm following along here at home.
Fantastic.
All right.
We love that it is a static list and you can follow along. So we'll go through this one and all three of us can comment, and then you'll be up. And I haven't read what you submitted, but I can't wait to hear you read it. Let's see, Zach, I forgot whose turn it is.
Oh, I got this. Way Down Upon Joy's piece. That's your read.
We, her and I, were news, but seldom seen. Our photographs would never share what's masked. White would fill the space of unforeseen, while black became the bones of thoughts unasked. Blurred lines of gray would surface, born again, and yet our times of freedom left adrift. The eyes of some who kept on looking in would know that keeping up would be makeshift. If life is lived between the words unread, and love is found between the presents past, the gift will be hypothesis unsaid, but found disguised as silent news amassed. Perhaps the gaps are where our lives begin, and not the places shared, just standing in poem. Oh, I really like that one. Kudos. That was a fun read. John, since you're our guest, would you prefer me call you John or JoJo?
You can call me whatever you like. Just probably don't call me Zach or Bill, then we'll all get
That's what I'm going to do. I'll call you Zach. I'm sure I will, because Zach's been with me from the beginning, so he's the one I most consistently say the name of. So I will call you. I think I've even called Scarlet Knight, who calls in occasionally. I've called her Zach more than once. So if I do that, John, I apologize, but I'll try to remember. What are your thoughts on this piece, John?
So, when I was in high school and college, my first few years, I was really into photography. And so I like the metaphor here with trying to kind of represent the relationship as in photographs, at least initially. But then kind of as the poem goes on, it seems like what starts to become important is more like what's maybe between the photographs. So to me, it kind of is talking about a relationship as it evolves, I guess. And because it talks about the gaps and the silences. And I think any of us who have been in, long-term relationships knows that, that happens. You get familiar with each other. You start to sort of anticipate what the other person is thinking or feeling and so forth. And so you don't have to explain everything all the time. And these gaps kind of develop. And then, because, you're sort of able to fill in fill in what's missing between the photos. I thought that was the strongest part of this piece, and I really like Way Down Upon Joy's writing, and this is a nice example.
I was very glad to get her in the group too, John. She's one of the new members, recent members, and I was glad to get her in. I've admired her writing for some time too. I believe I look back at some of the contests, and I think she won one of my contests, got gold in one of my contests like 3 years ago. Is where I started following her, and I've got one of her pieces pinned. Zach, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this reminds me of like a relationship that's developing, and also parallel a photo that's developing too, and kind of like same developing process, not the same, but like a similar process of evolving, like details coming to like gray surfacing, and it's like photo negatives, and like the images kind of bearing on each other, and becoming more clear as time goes on, and what something is, what it starts out as opposed to what it becomes. And I like how, especially how it says, the eyes of some who kept on looking in would know that keeping up would be makeshift. So that's like almost half-heartedly going along with it as it's happening. So it's like, it's just like, why continue it at that point? It seems like just not fully, it's a relationship that's not been fully lived by any stretch. It's just like half developed, I think. Not the poem, but the relationship.
Oh, absolutely, Zach. Is that the end of is that the end of your thoughts, Zach?
Yeah.
And it's funny because I started thinking about this as the in-betweens of the events, the major events and stuff in life. And to describe it as photographs, you have all these photographs which capture individual moments. Okay. So was it Polaroids? We were talking about Polaroids a week or two ago. I can't remember. Somebody had mentioned something about Polaroids, and that created a whole different kind of thought process as far as photographs, because you could instantly capture moments. We take that for granted with cell phones and all the technology we have now. You can produce a photograph in no time at all digitally. But when that came about, everybody started capturing these silly little moments. So instead of them being like photographs used to be whenever they were glass negatives and things like that, when we were at its infancy, and it capturing stillness in a moment that was planned, and you may only do once a year or once every 5 years or once every 10 years, or some people only did it once in a lifetime. Now we've got it condensed down to where it's snap, 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 snap. So the moments in between each photograph you post or each photograph you put in your album are shorter. Does that devalue them? I don't know, but it means there's less moments in between each moment captured by the photographs as they progress. So I think that's what this meant to me. It meant what happens in life between these monumental photographs is what life is. So it's kind of cool. These are mile markers. These are mileposts. They tell you, well, I was here, I was there, I was here, I was there. You know, my family came in, we grew to this, we grew to that, we took a vacation here. But you probably worked for 6 months of the year and took care of your lawn, went to the grocery store once a week or once every 2 weeks or whatever the cycle is for you. So there's so much more to living that is mundane, not captured in those moments, but that's where most of your life is spent. So it's kind of cool that way. I really appreciated the piece. Well done. Well done, Way Down Upon Joy. And I loved her screen name too, Way Down Upon Joy. It's so funny just because up on joy is the play on
nice
that.
play on
Anyway,
words, yeah.
yes. I love the almost punish. It's so much fun. Unexpected Bill, that's where that come from. I don't know if I ever explained that to you, Zach. My father-in-law called me that. He called me the Unexpected Bill because, well, he thought it was hilarious because if you get a bill you don't expect, it's usually a bad thing. But in my case, he said I was a good thing. So
I haven't heard that one. I haven't heard
That's
that
why
one
I
yet.
did that. That's why that is my screen name. It's because of Randall J. White. It's exactly why. And it stuck. All right. What do we got going on? John, you still with us? I'm sorry. We digress a little bit here every now and then. Feel free to join in because it's a casual conversation. We want this to be like three friends sitting in a room discussing poetry.
Well, that is exactly how it feels. So
Fantastic. Mission accomplished, Zach. See what we did?
Sounds good to me, man.
All right, let's move forward here. What do we got?
That's John's piece.
You ready?
Oh, yeah.
You ready, John? I
Yeah,
can't wait to
so-
hear you read this, sir.
You asked me what to I don't know, talk about my relationship with Shyamalan. When I first got asked to podcast on Late Night Poets, I decided I should jump on a podcast here and there and figure out what the hell I'm going to be doing when I podcast. So I got on one night, and I think Jean wanted to give me some experience. So she just immediately pulled me in and said, all right, you're reading and discussing. And I was like, okay, cool. Deep end of the pool. So they gave me a poem to read, and I was like, okay, fine. So I started reading The Art of Remaining by Shyamalan, and got about 2 stanzas into it, and I started realizing that this was a serious poet with just incredible craft, and it was immediate. I noticed the breath work was perfect. I'm kind of formally trained in things like breath work, and I just immediately noticed it. So I kept reading, and by the time I got to the end of the poem, I was barely able to read. I mean, the tears were streaming down my face. So within days, we were very much very connected, reading each other's poems, flirting in comments and so forth. And we very quickly, very quickly started calling each other boyfriend and girlfriend, I guess, is the way that I would say it, because that's what happened. She is the last woman I will ever love. Full stop. So, her passing on Tuesday was devastating. And so, I did what I know, which is to write poems. And that's also what she would want me to do right now. So this is really the second poem I wrote after her passing. And it's called Collapsed. So this is Collapsed by JoJo. I dreamt of you that night, awakening, arriving, awash in the southerly sun, rays rekindling your radiance, bathing your beauty, your body already breaking. You stand, phone fretting between fingers. That's me messaging, sweetheart. Where did you go? Come back to me. You set me aside, stand in silence, take a step, and collapse. But dreams don't loop, love, not endlessly. Nightmares do. The sun warms your cheek, strokes your smile, wakes your weary eyes. The kids clattering one room over. You stand, nightshirt sticking to skin soaked in sweat. Read what I wrote. Decide I can wait and leave me behind. You step, you collapse, and now I wait endlessly. I dreamt of you that night, awakening for the last time. You stand, step, and my world collapses. End poem.
Great job getting through that like you did, John. It was emotional to hear you read it. It's a beautiful piece, and I'll just put it to you this way, John. I knew it was you because Shyamalan had told me that she had met somebody, and I knew it was you. And I was so glad when you reached out to me because I felt like we could help each other. So I greatly appreciate that. Zach, you want to take this one first?
Yeah, I'll take a crack at it. This one, it gives the speaker. I mean the you at the end of her life is very she's brittle, but she there's a beauty to the brittleness there, and it's very evident to me as she's waking up, and the rays, you can kind of see that image in the morning as she's waking up, and it's very clear and vivid. And there's the repetition of the bees, because the alliteration, it just kind of sticks in the head that like there's this brittle body that's already breaking, and she kind of you could tell that like she's there's like a there's like a disconnect between the speaker and the you in the piece. So and there's such a like a falling and a rising to the piece, almost like breathing last breaths, and she's trying to like rise and fall, but she can't like continue doing that. She can't continue that pattern. There's only so much rising and falling you can do like that on the floor. And it's a very real image, and very real scene, and you can just see the kids coming and to check on the you in the piece, and the shirt soaking in the sweat. It's I mean, I've encountered death before. This is very real to me, in the sense that this is about as real as it close to death as someone can get, emotionally. And not only, I think like just dreaming, how dreams could be sort of like like how nightmares loop but dreams don't, and how that dream is still like at the end of the dream. I feel like that collapsing sort of resurfaces again, and it has a great motif throughout, the sort of the rising and the falling, and it's just sort of heartbreaking for sure. It's beautiful at the same time at the end of this life, and you could tell that the speaker was really in love for sure, because the entire world has collapsed.
Yeah, it's great job, John, on what you were expressing here from my perspective as I was listening to you read it. I was really keying on your voice and the emotion you were putting forward into the read itself, and things like this fresh could be peppered with grief, or they could be deep in grief and sadness. But I love the fact that you have this perspective where you're seeing these beautiful things, and sure, these beautiful things that you had in your time with Shyamala, you're expressing them in a, you're going to cling on, like you said yourself. There will be no other. You're out of the game now because there's no reason to love anyone else. You felt like you got it right. It was taken from you, and there's no sense in pursuing it again. But this doesn't seem bitter. It doesn't seem angry. There's emotion. There's deep emotion, and those things. I love the fact with what you shared with me is the and I'm not familiar with the cultural aspect like you are, but the grieving process and what is done. So I'm going to step back now, John, and let's hear your thoughts if you're ready to give them, and please feel free.
First, thank you both for your comments and feedback. It's much appreciated. Second, Bill, thank you for our relationship over the last few days. It has meant a lot to me. Shyamala would what do you call those little things in video games that you can kind of pick up, and like little nuggets of
Easter eggs,
like a power up?
Easter egg. So this has a lot of Easter eggs in it that Shyamala would recognize immediately. And but I think what she would want me to say is that she would want me to talk about the craft. I
I knew that. Thank you, John. I'm sorry.
when I was writing it, I was like, oh, she would like come back and haunt me if I wrote this and I didn't also find a contest to submit it to, you know. So I found a contest to submit it to. So she was a master with alliteration. I write a really different kind of a mostly pressure poetry. The indentations here are not just arbitrary indentations. They do structural work. They do structural breath work. They introduce pauses and so forth. And so, alliteration is not my strong suit. Rhyming poems are not my strong suit. And she was, we were doing a lot of poetry together. And, she was, in a sense, coaching me a bit on alliteration. And so what I tried to do with this poem is to marry, to adapt in what she was doing, what she did brilliantly, and what she was coaching me on. And say, I hope that, she's looking down, listening in right now and being very happy with the alliteration. And trying to merge it into this kind of pressure poem. My favorite technique is recursion. And so I wanted to add recursion in here. And so that's why the multiple iterations on the dream. The recursion builds pressure and it tells the reader where to focus and, what's important, because every time you recurse, something changes. And so what changes in the recursions are sort of the thing that builds pressure and the thing that, that's the important parts. And so I wanted to, for example, the first time through start in silence, the second time through bring in the clattering of the kids. So I think I know she would be very happy with the result, because I feel like I pulled in those things that she and I were working on. I also think she would be very happy with sort of it's set in a dream, and that's because I'm in Connecticut and she was in Kuala Lumpur, so I wasn't there, and so I can only kind of imagine kind of the, how it happened, how she passed. And so this is also sort of me in grief, trying to fill in the gaps, but unwilling to ask her family or friends for more details, because really I don't want to know. That's just part of the, the grieving process. There's only so much I can handle right now. But I can talk about it like this without breaking down. If I try to actually talk about the actual content, it gets I'm not there yet. But it's fresh. I don't know anything. I know nothing about Hindu, or at least I did not know anything about Hindu funeral rituals and practices. I've been having a bit of a crash course. One of her friends has, kind of filled me in and is being a real serious resource. But there's a period of, it's not really mourning so much as like a prayer and offerings period following the cremation, and it's some number of days, primarily of prayer, to get the to release the soul and move on to the next step, and then some period of daily offerings. And so I'm trying to be respectful of that, and to also, kind of grieve on my own as well. And it's actually quite difficult to do. Well, I've decided that to split the difference. And so what I'm trying to do is read and write poetry to her and for her, a few hours every day. And that's been very beneficial to me. And I hope you are doing the same, Bill. It seems like you are. But again, thank you so much. You've been a tremendous support, and you were extremely important to her. And Zach, she thought the world of you.
Oh, that's great to hear. I had some great comments on my poems, and likewise for her. It was always great. I just remember a few particularly vivid ones from her that will always really kind of stay with me in a way. It left a mark.
Did she ever leave a comment on your poems that was in poetic form?
Complete rhyme.
I think she did one or two. Yeah.
That literally tells you everything to know about what she thought of you. If she did that, she thought the world of you as a poet and as a person. I guarantee it. She and I talked about it over and over and over again. If it was a poem,
one that did that for me anyway.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. One of the first things I knew was she would send me, she would make a comment and it would be in total rhyme and meter perfect and all that. And I'm like, are you serious? Who does that? Shyamalan does that.
So that's she practiced it 24 hours a day. I mean,
yep.
Yeah.
And she heard rhyme and meter and all that all the time in daily life. The good thing is, John, now that you're in the group and all that stuff and we're communicating, we're going to have some time to discuss and get to know each other. And I appreciate you outside of your relationship with Shyamalan too. And that's a wonderful thing. I felt like we were going to be fast friends immediately, not just because we were connected through a friend, but because of who you are. And that's a good thing for me. Always room for more friends.
Yeah, it's good to already know them too.
And I'm going to let you know, John, you hang out as long as you want today. We're going to keep moving on. If you want to read a few more poems, you just let us know. We'll start you in the rotation as long as you're here. We want to hear your comments and things like that. We've got a jam-packed show that we've got to get through here. I think we've got 10 more poems to read, and we like to not put ourselves up against it if we can keep from it. So you're more than welcome to stay as long as you like, and we're glad to have you. I know I've said it before, and I was so excited about meeting you, honestly. It's a pleasure to meet you. It hasn't been a letdown. Thank you very much. Appreciate you greatly. So let's move on to the next one, Zach. I don't know whose read it is.
Oh, I don't know either.
How about I just jump in and I read
Okay.
Sound good? Sure. And we just meet her from there because we had a moment there that we needed to take.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens.
This Pac-Man, I believe, is where we're at, right?
Right. Yep.
And this is a longer piece. I knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Prom night, a quiet victory. It began as it always did in the narrow halls of Benton High. The laughter too loud, the shadows too small for someone like Jeffrey. Books hugged to his chest like armor he never asked to wear. He moved through the corridor, fog of lockers, and muttered names. The echo of Mr. Perfect ghosting after him. Jeff, as he was known to be friends who knew him best, was the school's undisputed debating wizard. I knew this was going to get silly. I'm sorry. He made me laugh there, and I needed it. I apologize. Jeff, as he was known to the friends who knew him best, was the school's undisputed debating wizard. He earned the reputation after his very first freshman debate. And over the next 2 years, he filled an entire drawer with awards. His mother would quietly take them out when he wasn't home, proudly showing them to neighbors and relatives. She knew her son wasn't one to brag. Cole McKenzie, however, lived under no such limits. Where Jeff moved in quiet competence, Cole ruled in unchallenged spectacle. Benton High's resident BMOC, planted squarely at the center of campus life. His swagger rose on touchdowns and applause he never earned alone. his friends circling him like anxious satellites, terrified of slipping beyond the glow of his halo. And all the while, prom night simmered in the spring air. Posters taped crooked on walls, the gym slowly transforming into a galaxy of rented lights, a promise of music loud enough to drown out every hierarchy. A prize, a dare, a test of who mattered most. Then came Audrey in a sparkle of new girl brightness, her talent split between the cheering squad and where she turned heads, and her ability to hold her own on the debate team. She smiled at Jeffrey over practice debates, saw something strong in his stillness. He practiced asking her out, but those words did not come to fruition. Then he learned that Cole had already asked her to the prom, and everyone figured. Case closed. What they didn't know was that Audrey was waiting for someone else to ask. At lunch one day, Cole and his minions approached Jeffrey. They were trying to get a rise from him. The same hands shoved the same laughter. Cole drank Jeff's milk. Thanks, twerp. How's things on the debating squad? Jeff said, why don't you come down and give it a try, Cole? You seem to have a way with words. The minions all laughed until Cole told them to button up. Out of nowhere, Coach Edwards appeared. Enough, Cole. The threat from the coach was small but heavy, and Cole knew what Waterboy was never to title worth cheering for. He and his crew wandered off. The coach asked Jeffrey if he had worked on the team's playbook. It's finished, Coach. Your second half is what needed work. To be honest, Cole is like a locomotive, but he runs out of steam in the third quarter. I designed most of the running plays for the second half around Hampton. He's faster and smaller, and Cole's size and weight can better serve to protect the quarterback. The coach agreed, saying, I like that logic, Jeff. Good call. He also said he would try things out at the next practice. After that, the field changed shape. Jeffrey's new plays were an immediate success with second halves that didn't fade. The team ran with rhythm, and the switch from locomotive to Formula One race car threw their opponents completely off guard. Cole soon realized his dual role would round out his stats, which was something the scouts looked for in college football. The scoreboard hummed with surprises. Cole had to admit he enjoyed the higher percentage of wins that led to the championship trophy. And then came prom night, the gym glowing like a dream, stitched together from fairy lights and rented speakers. The bass thumping through the floorboards, sequins catching the light like tiny fireworks. A night built for crowns and slow dances, for the kind of magic teenagers swear they'll remember forever. When Jeffrey and Audrey walked in, the music softened, the crowd turned, and the entire football team rose first. A standing ovation swelling through the room, louder than any cheer on any field. Cameras were going off, and everyone wanted to congratulate Jeffrey, and at the same time, get a look at Audrey. She was a knockout. Cole was standing by the punch bowl with his minions in orbit. Suddenly, he barged his way through the crowd. He got up in Jeffrey's face and said, loud enough for all to hear, this year's trophy was a team effort, and I declare my friend Jeff part of this team. Everyone chimed in to second that motion, the kind of victory that needs no trophy to shine. End poem. Thoughts, guys? John, you want to go first?
Sure. I know we don't have tons and tons of time, so I'll focus on two things. First, I love the vivid imagery, the descriptions that just bring up all of these like classic high school images that I have in my mind. For example, the description of the gym with the lights and all of that, it's really, really well done. You just get these vivid images of each of these different scenes. The other is a small thing that had a lot of impact, and that's the word same. When the fourth or fifth paragraph, the same hands shoved, the same laughter. The introduction of the word same twice there just brings in the entire kind of history of bullying that that's been clearly going on. And so I really like it when you have just those small little tweaks that just have these big impacts in terms of the storyline. So he was able to write bullying into the story with just 2 words, and I think that's excellent writing. Done.
Absolutely. Zach, your thought?
I really enjoyed, I guess, how distinct the character of Cole was. He seemed like, I just kind of like that take on the antagonist. Like, he just kind of enters the scene drinking Jeffrey's milk. I mean, I thought that was kind of funny in a way. Like, not funny like in a mean way, but just kind of like, I don't know, like just chugging milk. Like, it's such a weird thing to do in front of somebody. Like, it is a show of aggression and that sort of thing. It's just a weird way to do it. I don't know. It's just kind of esoteric, but in a funny way. I like how he kind of had this like outgoing swagger, but yet he kind of like has this growth arc that I really appreciated. How by the end of the piece he had matured somewhat, because he had he declared Jeffrey as part of the team. It wasn't just him, that he didn't just take full credit for it. So in that respect, the power of friendship won. He chose the team rather than just he chose to accentuate the team rather than just his own skills, and I appreciated that. And I like how he kind of evolved from that kind of the typical high school bully to kind of someone who's a little bit more or less of an idiot. And I kind of enjoyed that. I kind of enjoyed that arc, especially he was a bit of a focal point for me.
So I'll make my comment very simple in the beginning. Does this mean anything to you guys? Great Scott, Marty! I immediately thought of Marty McFly and Biff Tannen from Back to the Future. So I'm thinking this the whole way through. I'm thinking it the whole way through because the character arc is, a bully and blah, blah, blah. And it's a classic story. And it's mentioned so subtly, like John pointed out, in places where the Pac-Man has a really good knack for this. And I don't know if you've read much from him, John, but he does some stuff that is really good. I've always enjoyed him. As a matter of fact, he was, let's see, Poet of the Month. When, Zach? It was a couple months ago. So, yeah, yes. And he was Poet of the Month, and there's a reason. His writing really carries some weight. And the subtle nuance that you picked up in there with the same twice, John, is those kind of Easter eggs are very, very prevalent in Pac-Man's writing. He does a good job guiding a reader through and taking them exactly on the journey he wants to take them. Every time. It's so consistent. What's next, Zach? What do we got?
Wait a minute. Did either of you see Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood? Because
absolutely.
I drink your milkshake from that.
Drink that milkshake.
I drink your milkshake.
All the way. Across the road. I drink.
Great observation. And Daniel Day-Lewis, come on, man. If you mention his name, you got to say what an awesome actor.
Absolutely. 100%.
Gangs of New York, all of it. Dear Lord. What do we got now, Zach?
All right.
This one's shorter, I know it.
Next up we have Jeg 325's piece, and that's Only the Heartbreak Stays. My thoughts wander through the night like spirits of the lost, echoing amid shadows on a field of white frost. Inside lays a heart minus its love, a mailbox without mail, empty on the inside, where dreams come to fail. When morning skies break and the moon slips away, I am left without solace, only the heartbreak stays. And poem.
Good read, Zach. John, as our guest, I'll ask you, would you like to go first?
So this is short, sad, and effective. My favorite part of this is where we go, a mailbox without mail. the mail and mailboxes being sort of a metaphor for, or symbol for communication, and so the lack of mail in the mailbox to me is like they're no longer there to talk to communicate with, something I'm lost in right now. So that totally jumped out at me. And then followed by Empty on the Inside, just does so much crushing emotional work. I think it's 3 stanzas, I don't know, maybe like 35, 40 lines of purely packed emotion. I love it. It saddens me and it makes me really upset reading it, but it's that really good kind of sadness. It's really well done. So a great emotional brevity, I would say.
Have you had much experience with Jeg 325 reading him, not. John?
I've read a few of their poems, but like 3 or 4 maybe.
This is his form. This is his writing is recognizable to me and Zach, because we've read a lot of it from across the room, and he is a master in this form. He really is. He jams in some emotion. He jams in everything, but he's got these, it's very recognizable. So as you get a chance to read him, this is where he lives. He stays right here in this form, and he just is so spot on with it. So I loved a lot of what you were talking about too, in the fact that mailbox is, it's a metaphor for the emptiness and the uselessness and the sadness that is of this. And it just, it doesn't even need amplified, because it just hits you so hard that you start feeling sad, you start feeling lonely. Like you said, you feel that even if you weren't necessarily sad when you started reading it, you're going to be by the end, and it don't take long to get there either. It gets you right to it. Zach, your thoughts?
I thought this piece was mostly kind of, in a way, the speaker is very haunted by the thought of the loss of this heartbreak. There's like a very there's like this outdoor perspective that's like very much involved with nature, and in a nocturnal landscape that's kind of reflecting this internal struggle. I just thought that was interesting how the speaker kind of looks outward to kind of look inward in a way, how the thoughts kind of travel in the field of white frost. I could just kind of see that it's kind of like a ghostly spectral image. I wanted to touch on the final stanza too, because the moon, when the moon kind of retreats from the sky, the sun may come, but like still there's just this emptiness that lingers, that was there from that night, that previous night, that just didn't go away, and that heartbreak still stays. So it's a very lingering sort of emotion, and it's also cathartic as well. I thought this kind of piece would be cathartic, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. John, are you willing to read again?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's move on to the next piece, Zach, whenever you're ready.
Oh, right. That's Mark Horsfall's piece, and that's your read, John.
This is called The Last Lie by Mike Horsfall. Lamplight thins to a yellow ledger. My breath adds, subtracts, fades. I watch the room unfasten. Curtains drink the remaining sky. Darkness arrives without footsteps. Demons come, ordinary, patient. They sit in the corners, listening, red eyes fixed on me. I turn my face from ink. My hands find the blank paper. I will not name the hurt. I will not inventory the pain. I write no truth. I write, I am fine, darling. I write, sleep, you have work. I write, the roof holds, still. Each lie some small sheltering, each word a cane for the mind, a quilt pulled over the world. Under it, my ribs argue. Under it, the lungs stall. Under it, the pain is all. The demons lean, eager for truth. I offer them only gentleness, like bread left on the sill. The darkness tries my mouth. I swallow the scream politely. I sign my name, steady enough, then erase the trembling line, so they won't feel my lonely falling, so their mornings stay unbroken. Outside, a bird rehearses absence, sings one last soliloquy of silence. Inside, the page stays white, stays blank, and I keep guarding it. End poem.
Great read, Joe. Zach, you want to take a crack at this one first?
Sure. This one was a dark one. This is like, in a way, having having disquieting thoughts and having no real way to kind of get them out, other than to write about them. I feel like these kind of thoughts, if the speaker didn't write about them, they would kind of really, in a sense, consume him alive. In a sense, I thought like this demon was spurring him on to just to write, essentially, but he had no energy to, and he kind of is in a sense kind of feeding this demon lies in a way, and the demon was kind of just like is being nourished by this, and the speaker is giving more and more of himself to this demon, and in the end he's still unable to write, but he's guarding the page, so it's like he's like not giving in to the demon, like by writing, I guess. He's thinking, like he's practicing in his own way by signing his name, but like that gives him some form of agency, I think. So he's got somewhere at that point, but he's got a ways to go because he's got that blank page. So I think he's like in a like almost like a Mexican standoff with this demon, just waiting.
It's funny, Zach, because I see that too, and I'm going to continue forward from what you were saying there. But it sounded like, to me, he was struggling with what needed to be said, what he felt like needed to be said and expressed to someone, but because it's hurtful, he couldn't write it on the page. And he's struggling with that pondering. He's thinking about it. You know, he doesn't say who the subject is. It could be himself, or it could be somebody he cares for, but he knows if he writes it, it's going to hurt someone, so he doesn't want to write it. But still he's stuck with the thoughts. It doesn't change a single thing about the thoughts being there. All it does is just leave them bottled up and stoved up inside, you know, and he's struggling with that, is what I gathered from this. And it's a great piece for that. But this is one, Joe, and I don't know if you know Mike Horsfall or not. He was our first poet of the month. So you're getting a crash course in what this group has to offer as far as poetic prowess. We have some very, very good and deep poets that just continue to amaze us. Zach and I say it every week. I can't believe we get to read this kind of poetry so consistently. So I'm glad you got to experience it. Mike Horsfalls, he's another good one that we deeply appreciate. We're ready to move on. I know what's next. I know who's next, and this one's going to be fun.
Wait.
Oh, please, John.
I could teach a 4-hour university course with just this poem. It's got that much craft. The use of repetition here is just 100%. The paper is his protection, and so he's, you know, when he says, "I will not write," I write, "I am fine." I write, "Sleep, you have work." These are all ways of protecting. He's writing his protection onto the blank page, so the blank page is his protection, and the repetition there is him trying to convince himself that he's protected. And the other thing is that the whole poem through, he's bordering right on the edge of kind of giving in. And so this is a master class in some of my favorite forms. I love this poem 100%. Sorry, I just thought that in there before we move on.
I love that we all have just the different perspectives and things that we focus on. It's the best part of poetry is what it captures from each person. All right, Zach, what do we got next?
All right. Next up, we have Dark Night of the Soul's piece. And whose read is that? I got lost.
I think it's your turn, Zach.
Okay. All right. This one is called Bubba the Goat. Amelia had a billy goat she called Bubba for a cake maker she dated back in the day. He often made her laugh. Bubba the boy, not the goat. But both had a hairy goatee. He lived in her house, wild and free. Bubba the goat, not the boy. And he ate all the flowers in her garden and home, roses, daisies, and lilacs caught in his scented goatee. Amelia left her country home for the county fair to see Bubba the boy, not the goat. She asked Sister Felicia to pet sit for free and left her a buttery apple crumb cake as she stroked the Boveday's snow-white goatee. Felicia said yes easily, a big fan of baked goods he made. Bubba the boy, not the goat. Just a few hours missed, as old sweethearts reminisced, so Felicia laid her straw on the dining room chair, next to his wiry goatee. Felicia got her fill of apple crumb cake and napped after devouring it greedily. He made a snack of her straw hat, Bubba the goat, not the boy, and licked her face, nibbling free at her buttery apple crumb cake goatee. End poem.
Dark Night of the Soul really isn't very dark.
No.
He cracks us up consistently, John. Please. John, your thoughts?
So Shyamala's niece about a month ago wrote this, was learning poetry and wrote this poem about a dog and used recursion where each time it built pressure around the dog, and you know how the ending went. And I couldn't help but think about that with each stanza here because of the focus on the goat. I'm like, oh, the goat's about to buy it, And then I saw the straw hat, and I thought, "Oh no, the goat's gonna choke on the straw hat or something." But this is charming and fun and absolutely ridiculous, and I loved it.
I couldn't agree more. And this is Doug, Dark Night of the Soul. He has this. He references things that I understand because we're of a similar age and apparently have similar interests and things like that. So I recognize his writing from his perspective, and it's fabulous. I laugh. I don't know if we have actually read him out loud one time that either Zach or I didn't laugh in the middle of it. I swear. And it's absurd, but it's absurd in the most poignant and wonderful ways. Yeah. Zach, your thoughts?
yeah, this one, I thought like it was appropriate to name a billy goat Bubba. It just works. And not only for the alliteration, I don't know, it just kind of fits. I thought that was a great name, and I could just, I really like sort of the behavior of this goat. It's I don't know, like he had like it was an interesting sort of like character study, I thought, in a way, to kind of like builds this humor around and kind of create this narrative. And I like the repetition of the joke, Bubba the boy, not the goat. I thought that was just that was my favorite part. The kind of recontextualizing that line within every stanza. I thought that was neat. And like how it ended too. I thought like really it was just whimsical and pretty cute too.
Couldn't agree more. What do we got next, Zach? John, you ready to read another one?
Damn. This is Banta Black, right?
Yes.
Banta Black. by Purple Gerbera. When you drained my world of its color and created a gaping void in its place, I still made that my home, my only reclaimed space. That is all I had then, the only comfort away from you. But like a vicious vampire you are, you tried to monopolize that, too. Does it hurt you now that the color has returned to my cheeks? Does it bother you now? It's a shade you'll never seek. Don't you want to sink in your teeth? But you already traded your soul once to suck the life out of me like a giant Vanta black hole. I've been sacrificed before to the gods of the darkest nights. Now I live beyond gray, and you're still stuck in black and white. Does it feel unfair to be impaired as colorblind? Does it feel too lonely now that I left it all behind? Do you feel lost when you can no longer find the light that once left my eyes, but never welcomed your Vanta black mind? End poem.
Great read, John. I'll comment first, Zach, if you don't mind. Vanta Black, I didn't know what that was. I never heard that before. It's the blackest black. So this poem utilizes that as a springboard to say, hey, look at me now. You know, you didn't want it back then. It was all nothing but problems and issues and things like that. And now that I've moved on, hey, look at me, and you're still stuck in that darkness. This is about escaping that darkness in that relationship, and it was well written and well expressed. And Purple Gerbera, I believe one of our younger poets, always great to read. Zach, your thoughts?
Yeah, this was the case of someone, the antagonist is an abuser of some sort. He's just like this human void, and that could be attractive for some. I think, like looking into that void, and kind of getting sucked into that void. Because I mean, the void looks at you. You look at the void. You know, there's this kind of communication there, but the speaker doesn't stay there too long. The speaker realizes their sense of agency within the void, and just kind of breaks apart from it, and regains a sense of like independence, and sort of names the void for what it really is, how vicious it is, and how basically how untouchable the speaker is after being cleansed of this void. This presence is very this interloper is just gone. So it's just like hit the road and don't come back, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yep. John?
Yeah, I only learned what Vanta Black was from a poem maybe about 2 months ago that we read one night in LNP. So I didn't know what it was until really recently either. What all of you said, but I thought I would throw in here the color system. The black and white color system here is used really effectively to make it very clear that like there's no gray area here. You know, this thing that drains the color from the world is really it's black and white, right? Like there's no question that Vanta Black is, you know, this terrible force. And that, you know, the speaker has a right to their nearly complete anger. This is just like viciously angry. So I thought the use of the color system here was really effective, and I liked it a lot. This is a really direct and accessible poem. And I really like it. I love the black and white color system. Just fantastic.
Oh, I was on mute. Sorry, guys. That's my fault. What's next, Zach?
Next up is Merv's piece, and that's your read, though.
Me? Okay. Hey, all right. This evens out from Pac-Man's, that long one I read. This one's a very quick hitter. A Sigh Left on a Window by our own Merv Graham. Warm breath meets the pain, a silver veil on a cold, hiding the gray world. Softly, one sigh lingers. tracing shadows of a quiet heart until the morning sun fades. End poem. Who wants to comment first, guys? I don't care either way. John, as our guest.
Yeah, this is a really nice brevity, short, sweet, simple, really clear imagery. The metaphor for the warm breath is some kind of a I don't know, on the the breath on the window pane that hides the outside gray world. I think is really effective. So that very simple kind of an image there just brings in so much richness to the narrative arc. So you get the sense that it was some kind of it wasn't necessarily intentional, I guess, but that I don't know, like some kind of an emotion anyway evoked this warm breath, and because it was a warm breath on the cold glass, it hides the gray world. I thought that's a really nice image. Your thoughts, Zach?
Can you guys hear me okay? I just had to switch my headphones because my other pair just ran out, so I had to like change pairs.
Yep, got you, Zach.
Okay. So
Loud
yeah,
and clear, buddy.
this one, I really enjoyed the colors mostly of the morning. It's that kind of morning where it's like gray overcast and kind of dew has been left on the window, like in condensation sort of thing. You can kind of like see the breath sort of warming that and the hand mark that kind of goes on it. It's just kind of it's very visual image, and I think like once you read this poem, I think like a lot of folks could probably recognize that kind of condensation sort of. I think like a lot of people could kind of they've experienced rain and they know windows, and they could like, it's very relatable that way, and I like that. I like how relatable it is, and you could like recognize that kind of sequence for what it is when you read it as a reader.
Well said, Zach. Let's see. What do we got now? Scarlet Knight, I believe.
Yes, and would you like to read that, John, if that's okay?
Sure. This is Being Back Here by Scarlet Knight. It's weird being back here. Like this place was laying in wait for me to return. But I'm not the person that was supposed to come back. It feels like trying to stuff myself into skin that's too small. I feel like if I stay here long enough, I'll cram myself back into that person, cracking my spine and crushing my guts. And the person I am won't really exist anymore, replaced only by my father's daughter. And the person I am won't really exist anymore. And the person I am won't really exist anymore, replaced only by my father's daughter. They're not being cruel to me. They're not even unkind. There's nothing wrong here, but I feel wrong. I hear the hushed whispers, see the darting glances. I feel like something's rotting under this plastic shell, but maybe I'm just paranoid. End poem.
So I know a little more about this than probably you guys do, because Scarlett had told me why she had been writing. She has recently moved back home. She's a college kid, and she had recently moved back home after college was out for the summer. And she's looking around, and it's unfamiliar. And she has all these memories and stuff like that. The negative ones are coming forward just as well as the positive ones and things like that. But she feels out of place, like she doesn't belong. So you can never go back home again, right? All the feelings are there, the history is there, and all that stuff. But once you get so far removed from it, it doesn't feel like home anymore. That's kind of what she's writing about currently. Let's see, Zach.
Yeah, this piece kind of it's like it reminded me of like trying to be forced to be like someone. The speaker is trying to be like someone else is forcing them to change and they don't want to change. Or that they're aware of like that sort of being forced into that space of being wanting to conform to something that's not inherently them, and that's a really hard space to fill. And because you can't contort yourself like that unless if it's very forcibly. Um, and that person, the speaker, is very aware of this kind of warping of the self by this other person, this father figure, and that does feel wrong. It feels wrong to the speaker, and it should feel wrong to the reader as well. And that last line is kind of disquieting to me, because that means that this some of what this father figure has done is somewhat effective.
Please, John, wrap it up whenever you're ready.
Yeah, when I first moved back from Australia, I stayed with my mom while I was job searching. This was in 2021, and in my old hometown that I hadn't lived in like 40 years or something, and so I really get that whole sense of sort of the identity crisis going on here, of kind of being back in that in your childhood home or whatever, and suddenly, being treated as the child that you no longer are, for example. I get some sense of that, but the identity crisis here is even worse because apparently everybody around knows something is wrong with the dad, and now she's being associated with the dad, right? The whole father's replaced only by my father's daughter, I think, does a lot of heavy lifting in this. So this is really strong, really powerful. And for such a short, compact poem, I think it does a lot of emotional damage. And I love the just this whole fracturing or questioning of identity. And then I get the sense in that last couplet, I feel like something's rotting under this plastic shell, but maybe I'm just paranoid. You get the sense that the speaker is sort of gaslighting themselves. The self-gaslighting that is going on there. And I think that's brutal as well. So I think this is just a fantastic write.
Scarlett is, again, one of our recent Poet of the Month. And there's a reason behind it. She's a great writer, and she actually joins us on the show. So glad you got to enjoy that too. What do we got next, Zach?
Next up is a hints piece, and that's I Want You. And I'll give that a read. Clouds have drowned out our stars. Wouldn't let 'em touch my heart. I want you. Eyes so full of woe. Can't wait to see you return. My stray dove. I want you. Lips so full of blue. Do you think of me? She says it's salt to stay off my skin. I want you. Hiding shivers up my sleeves. It's so nice to meet you where we're so young. End poem.
John, you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I get the sense here that someone wants someone, but they also don't want to get wrecked by it. WREKT. I like how simple the writing is. It's I think it does work here. It's seems like it gives me the sense of youth and innocence, which is the ending line, so young. But I got the sense of the youth from the very beginning because of the writing, which I think is really, really nice. I like the whole bringing in the stars and the clouds and what did I miss? I thought there was the ocean. Oh, the sea. Yeah, the sea sheds its salt to stay off my skin. That's a really interesting line. I like it, but I don't know why. It's effective, but I don't know why. But the sea sheds its salt to stay off my skin is just surrealistically fantastic. I like this piece. It's emotionally very clear. Though I'm not sure I could really point to anything in particular that makes it feel that stands out as that. So I like it when a poem is effective, and I'm not quite sure why. So really nicely done.
I am a ponderer as well, John. I like to think about things. It's like a great sport for me. And these kind of poems make me think about things because, like you said, this is very clear what it is. I want you. He didn't hide behind the title at all, did he? So it's very clear the direction we're going here. But the way he expressed it, and I loved that particular line and couldn't put my finger on exactly why either, other than the alliteration.
Yeah.
Sea sheds its salt to stay off my skin. I loved the alliteration in it. And drawing that picture, it doesn't even matter what the picture looks like. It sounds pleasant rolling off the tongue. And sometimes with emotional pieces, the analytics don't matter.
Yep.
It just grips you and holds you like a warm hug or a kick to the groin, whichever way you prefer. Zach?
Yeah, this piece, I like how I think like the ideal phrase for me to describe this piece would just be young love. You know, it's just innocent, kind of, and pure in a way, like a stray dove. And I like how like how the beach is melded with the sense of like innocence and young love too. You get like this sort of this beachscape and these feelings, this kind of this picturesque sort of warm day that kind of mimics the sort of the youth. Um, this is sort of this young this bond that these two have formed. It kind of mirrors the day on the beach, I think, in a way, like nature blending with the feelings, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too, Zach. Well said. So I'm going to ask you, fellas. We're coming right in. We're coming in hot, but we're coming right in where we need to be to get this show completed. And I want to figure out which way we should go because the lineup now is Rain's poem, my poem, and then Shyamala's to close the show.
You might want to close it with Shyamala's.
Yep. We're going to close it with Shyamala's.
Ideally.
John, would you like to read that at the end, or would you like Zach to?
I would be glad to.
Okay, that's kind of what I was holding out for. So what we're going to do is, Zach, if you would, read the next poem, and then I'll read mine, and then John will close the show with Shyamala's poem. Is that okay with everybody?
Perfect.
Sounds good.
Go team. All right, Zach.
All right. This is Rain's piece, When Night Became Fluent. The butterfly mistook herself for unforgettable, simply because the garden kept turning towards her. I never corrected her. Some beauties survive easily in daylight. They are touched gently, spoken about fondly, carried through people's lives like pressed flowers inside unfinished books. The butterfly belonged to the easier species of love, the kind that arrives beautifully enough to make permanence feel unnecessary. Even the wind handled her carefully, as though the world understood that delicate things break quickest, and it decided in advance to forgive her for it. Meanwhile, I became fluid in darker habitats. A firefly does not bloom all at once. It appears slowly, a pulse moving through the under language of night, small enough to overlook until the darkness becomes personal. That is when people begin looking for creatures like me. Not during celebrations, not during spring, during power outages, long drives home, the quiet after arguments, the terrible hour where loneliness stops sounding poetic and starts sounding structural. The butterfly once asked why I never envied her wings. I almost told her that envy belongs to those who still believe visibility is power. Instead, I asked whether she had ever noticed how people speak about butterflies from memory, but speak about fireflies in whispers as though afraid the night might overhear them glow. She did not answer immediately. Above us, the garden was dimming into evening, flowers folding inward, daylight loosening its grip from her wings. Then, for the first time, the butterfly looked frightened, not of the dark, of becoming invisible inside it. I understood that fear instinctively. I had simply learned earlier how to turn invisibility into illumination. End poem. Wow.
This is one of our younger poets too. Her screen name is Mindchild, but she goes by Rain. Always a gorgeous read. She's so much fun to read and so thoughtful.
How young?
If you would,
Like
please, John.
Like teenager?
I'm sorry.
Like how young?
I'm not sure, but fairly young, but a very wise young person.
This is some really mature craft and really mature writing and a deep metaphor. That the beauty of the butterfly and the visibility during the day, and that opening stanza is just incredible. The butterfly mistaking herself for unforgettable simply because the garden kept turning toward her. That is amazing. Oh, so good. This is so good.
Yeah, it is. I agree. Rain is so talented. I'm sorry, John. I just had to interject there because I agree with you 100%.
Go. Oh.
And this young poet will not disappoint you, John. I encourage you to get there and start reading her because her thought process is fabulous. And to me, this turned almost conversational. Like, the person is sitting there, she's having this conversation, not just about the butterfly and the thoughts, but she's talking to the butterfly while it's happening. And things are so deep and so profound and so introspective at the same time and just gorgeous in nature with the colors and this, it's sad and happy and beautiful. It just travels all over the place. Zach, what do you think?
Wow, yeah, this was an amazing write from Rain. This one had a darkness about it, but it was kind of um it was soft in some places, but it did have a bite in some others. I thought it didn't completely stay out of it had enough light, but it stayed mostly in the dark, I think. I just like how these bugs were sort of likened to flowers in a sense, and that were blooming in the night. I really thought that was cool. I really also thought some of it was kind of eerie. When night is where people began looking for quote unquote creatures like me, not during celebrations, but during power outages or the quiet after arguments. So there's some the speaker is working with some negative space while holding this conversation in the garden. It's almost it's a very interesting bit of personification, I think, how butterflies are kind of likened to not being. It's hard for them to survive in the dark because they don't have the same glow as fireflies. So it's their lives have direct consequences of how they live and survive within nature. And I think maybe the speaker is likening themselves to a butterfly or a firefly in some regard, maybe in both, maybe a firefly and a butterfly in in different ways. I just really enjoyed the dichotomy between them and the sort of the way the speaker drew that. It was very interesting.
The rain sure captured a lot of stuff in there. What do we got next, Zach? Let's see. We're coming in about 7 minutes. So, John, when you read Shyamalan's, if we don't have time to comment, I would just prefer you to comment immediately after reading it, if need be, and then I'll cue the exit music and we'll be done, okay? If that's okay with you. We'll see what happens. Zach, where are we at now?
All right. Next up is Shyamalan's piece, and that's your read, John.
It's actually, I think it's mine, isn't it, Zach?
Oh, my.
Yep.
We're closing with Shyamalan's.
Oh, we're closing with Shyamalan's. I
yes.
see.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to confuse you. So I wanted them in this order for this reason. So I'm going to go ahead and read mine. It's titled Death of a Poet. Poetry is a reflection of life. To write is to be. To be is to write. Every poet's unique, but we all bleed the same. Veins sliced wide open, bleeding thoughts while reliving pain. Therapy to the broken, testimony for the healed. We write about experiences, personal thoughts and feelings. Spit out the venom, then express loving kindness. Analyze quotes using metaphors and irony. Play with fascinating words, make readers think or laugh. Manipulate an audience, twisting and turning their path. Use rhyme and meter to dictate a flow. Count syllables carefully. things novices don't know. Maybe we feel less. Maybe we feel more. Maybe we feel nothing in the world we explore. I'm a poet at heart, an amateur at best. I write about everything because I've lived, loved, and laughed. I've cried tears of joy. I've cried tears of pain. I've cried out the thoughts alive in my brain. But the parchment is freedom, and the quill is the key. Together they unshackled all the feelings inside me. Now every drop I bleed brings me closer to death. I fear not the ending. I fear there's nothing left. The death of a poet happens before the last breath. The death of a poet is the last poem we write. End poem. John, want to go with that one? You care to read the first comment on the list there, John? Would that be okay with you?
Sure, if you want. Shamala wrote, "Your lines bleed truth. The parchment is freedom. The quill is the key. A poet's quiet courage, setting captive hearts free. You thread pain with purpose, each verse a rebirth. Proof that poetry still shakes the bones of the earth. As long as I feel the gust of life in my chest, I'll carve it into words like you at my best." Brilliant. Yes. Sorry.
Thank you, John. I'm glad you got to read that. And this is why I was friends with Shamla, because she was that amazing. And I know you know that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you got to read that. Now, I don't even care if you analyze this. The reason I posted this was I was hoping you would call in, and I wanted to share this with you about our mutual friend.
You want me to read it? I will read it, and then I don't think there's a need to comment.
Yeah, there's no need to comment. Yeah. I think I've read did my comment already. Let's just get into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're ready, whenever you're ready to move forward,
all right,
with the end of the show, John, please have the stage.
Shamala read this to me one night over the phone, and it's called "Drifters of the Crimson Veil" by Shamala. They all gave me something to hold. I just never promised to let go. Prelude. The priest wakes to the drip, to the dark, to the chill. Mud up his calves, stagnant, still. He smells trout, decay, that river's breath. Too known, too near, too full of death. Where am I, he mouths, throat raw with dread. A shadow curls around a shovel by the bed. His vision adjusts to a lantern sighing near, revealing truths he never wished to hear. Prologue. Forgive me, Father, for you are here. Not in a chapel, no incense, no fear. Just a hole I dug, where secrets I keep, where silence festers and the past won't sleep. I have borne veils, crimson and fine, draped over mouths once kissed like wine. I didn't mean to bring you so, but still I seek your grace to grow. The cantor. He drank from my voice like a man on fire, my touch confused with choral choir. Called my perfume a blessing, my skin divine, missed the tremor that curled down my spine. He crooned nocturnes with another name, swore oaths dressed in candle flame. I left before he dared to explain. Some chords are better left untamed. 2. The listener. He called silence sacred, called absence peace, but even quiet breaths deserve release. He watched me shatter and called it form, mistook the cold for keeping warm. One kiss, long like twilight's chime. He never checked if it was time. He's still out there, I suppose. Some echoes choose not to close. 3. The seeker. He scoured my depths with questions sharp, mapped my body like sacred art, named me muse and martyr too, traced his truths in violent hue. He fancied pain, poetic and raw, never learned where not to claw. I sparked a fire he couldn't lave. Not every flame forgives the brave. 4. the one who stayed. He stayed when the floor caved in, loved my faults like they were kin, never asked why the garden died or why my hands came crimson tide. He kissed me whole, even when I shook, read me like an unwritten book. I told no priest, for I didn't dare, but he's here now, beneath you, somewhere. Forgive me. End poem.